turning it back on. Alright, I have half an hour until I got another meeting, so I'm just trying to get something up. Okay, so yeah, structure, small pieces. It's nice because now I know what I'm doing. I'm talking about part A, which is the course prep check-in. And it's important to say that at the beginning of the video so that the videos can be standalone. So this is video 2, part A. This is me, the Professor John, I am a professor, my name is John. You can call me whatever you want. That does not apply for all professors because me letting you call me whatever you want is partial, is me. I am exerting my like white male privilege by doing that because I know that as a bald white man with a beard, I never have to worry about whether or not you're going to take me seriously. It's just demographically, it is not something I need to be concerned about. So I don't really care about if you call me like doctor or professor or John or whatever. Don't care. Other people who without like, but that is not like the default. Like in general, like we have titles because it's like, don't make me like re-earn the respect that I earned by getting the title of doctor. So by default, you know, respect people's titles and basically call them what they call themselves. Like this is a general rule I've noticed. Like whatever the person like signs off, like that's what they're comfortable. That's how they're presenting themselves to you. So that's how you should respond. Focus. So relevant actually. So I often like I just like struggle. I have like existential crises, moral quandaries at all times. That's just how I live my life, and I take a lot of these responsibilities very seriously as like my role as a teacher, professor, or whatever the hell I'm doing. And that's tricky in a lot of ways. One is because I think that the educational system that we have in this country and just world is just like deeply flawed, problematic, exploitative, immoral, and I hate participating in it. I love education, research, mentorship, teaching, all these things. Those are my ideals, my values, and I experience regular moral harm by being forced to participate in a system that does not align with my morality. That's beside the point. No, it is the point. The point is that in this context, as I'm teaching you this capstone, I want to be sure that I'm doing it in a way that's like aligned as it can be with like my whatever fucking principles. And part of that is that I really want to be teaching you like useful skills. And in the context of the capstone, at least the structure that I've been sort of presented, like what's like the purpose that the role that this course plays in the educational process of this institution is to, it's supposed to be like a culminative thing, but like this, but we generally use this like writing a fake grant structure, which is again a fine structure, makes sense to do it, and so like, and it's like a useful skill that like if you're going to be in research, like knowing what a grant is really helpful for you to do. Now, as a research professor person who writes grants and gets grants, this is a great opportunity for me to show you the ways that I would do this task, having done it and, you know, gotten some. Percentage-wise are low, but like, you know, that's kind of part of the game. It's like global statistics are 15%. That means you submit 7, you'll get 1. As long as you're like within the statistical belly of like quality, because like, yeah, whole other conversation. So I want to teach you how to write a grant in the way that I would write a grant, like accepting the fact that like, you know, like you are students and you don't have whatever lived experience that I have. But that's especially tricky in a world, in a time, where the fundamental way that I would do, actually this is super small, doink, 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 yeah. Ugh. This is the part where if I was like, if I had the spare energy to like edit videos, I would definitely edit this part out. I think last time I might even said like, I'm gonna edit this out later, and then I straight up did not do that. Because it's just like, pff, an extra task? No. I can't. Yeah, cool. So we're here. Right. So one of the challenges here is that the way that I would write a grant was completely blown out of the water a year or two, like not a year or two ago, almost a year ago, when GPT-4 was dropped on the scene. And I, from my background of like cognitive science and philosophy of mind and all this stuff, like this is, and I used to study language when I was like undergrad age. Like I was ready for this. And it's unbelievably important and powerful technology, and like I personally, in a world where this technology exists and I have the skills that I have to use it, I would never ever sit down and just start writing a document. I would never sit in front of Microsoft Word, just ever, if I can avoid it. But like I would use Overleaf or LaTeX or something like that. But I would never just like sit down in front of a blank page and start writing. I would never produce an entire document with my own fingers and a keyboard ever. It'd be insane. It would be like if someone hands me a chainsaw and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna chop it down with this like pocket knife. No, I would never do that. How would I do it? Well, I'm not really 100% sure of that either, because I've never done that part. I've never written a grant in a world where AI exists. AI of this sort of large language models of this quality and caliber, or natural language processing functionality of this quality and caliber and accessibility. So that kind of gets into the like the formative pedagogy thing, where it's like now I'm trying to teach a class about how to do a thing when I am relearning how to do that thing in the context of like current events. Well, that's also true, but specifically like current technological advances. So I do have thoughts. I have been developing a personal strategy that I intend to employ to write grants using AI and AI-like tools. And now, so when I did that, I sort of already had that plan in my mind, like, late summer. But it was a plan. It hadn't been enacted, and it certainly hadn't been taught. So, it is known that if you know how to do something, try teaching it to someone, and you'll find all the gaps in the things that you know. And so, anyways, yeah. So I'm learning. It's like there's a lot of unknowns in this equation that makes it tricky. So I guess what I would say, attempting to come to a point, which is always a finite plan, is I guess asking for some grace if things are slow and weird. Let me know if anything is causing you like significant emotional distress. For example, like not knowing what the structure of the assignment's going to be. But also understand that like I do have some sense of what those anxieties likely are, and I am likely trying to get to them. And I'm gonna find better ways, like, because hey, like this, like asking a student to come to the professor and say like, hey, I'm having trouble, that's a high emotional load that I'm putting onto you. So I'm going to try to find other ways of just sort of like passively extracting that kind of information. So like, like when I give assignments, I'm going to put them on Canvas, and I will generally put like a text box on Canvas that you could like put comments in there. That's kind of like outside of things. Canvas is sort of more official record anyway. But full disclosure, like with the available emotional energy I have in my daily life plus this class, like I don't really check those very frequently. Just because I fucking hate Canvas. It's just like, yes, I need to find, anyways, I need to check in on those. It's not fast, so if there's something you just want to like if there's something you just want to like voice and it's not time sensitive, put it there. If it's something that feels time sensitive, send me. You'll get the fastest response just sending me a message on Discord. You can send me an email and I will respond to it, but like I miss emails. Like I live my life in a sea of spam, and sometimes I just miss stuff. Okay, anyways, blah 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 blah. So yeah, my plans going forward, I don't know. I have them. Okay, yeah, and check in on the course. So I guess we're also, aside from like the emotional check-ins, I also want to just do like sort of technical check-ins on like the course materials. So there is a syllabus now. There has been a syllabus now, but I realized not too long ago that I made it, but then like I didn't put it anywhere that you can access. But if you go into, so in the Discord server, important links. Let me put this up here. Wait, get out of there. Da. Discord, you sloppy shit. Thank you. So this is a locked channel. Hopefully it's locked. Right click, edit channel, permissions. Everyone can view it. Everyone cannot send messages. I already did this. Good job. Cool. So only the professor role can put stuff here. And these are important links for the thing. The course syllabus exists in the form of the README on the course GitHub repository. If I think I made y'all make a bunch of GitHub usernames, which I hope we get to using. We may or may not. It's sort of things get technical in that part of the world, and I think I'll probably try to make it possible for people to participate in that if they want, but also generally globally try to set things up in such a way that like participation in the techie side of stuff is like purely what's the word? Voluntary. And if you would prefer to sit in front of Microsoft Word or Google Docs and just write a document old school style the ways you were taught, yeah, go for it. Totally go for it. Why not? You know, that's fine. Like the output of this is going to be very individually focused or customized or whatever. So, you know, that's certainly an available option. Yeah, so syllabus, I'm not going to go over this too much, but click into here. I put two links here, which is arguably confusing. Okay. This is the repository. See, GitHub, /capstone, GitHub, /capstone, blob main readme. So if I go here to the main GitHub repository, this is, I think we talked about this, I can't remember. Think of this as just like a folder full of files. It's just on a website. And this README file is just like, that's a standard pattern of naming, like just like those letters in all caps .md, which is markdown. So GitHub knows to look for that and then display it down here. So there you go. So you can read up on it. It's a bit cleaner. There's stuff here. It's not complete. I did have this kind of like, this was retroactive, but like thinking about the global plans, what we've been doing, I'm just calling kind of like the exploration phase, where it's unstructured and you're just kind of like, the assignments are like talk to the bot, and the first time talk to it in this kind of like unstructured, sort of like treating it like a person, like having a little interview with yourself. And then the second part is more using it like a tool, which is like, hey, here's some text, summarize it for me. Here's a paper, summarize it and explain it to me. You know, those are not hard distinctions, but they're sort of softly there. But the assumption, hope, is that in that process, or you know, externally to that process, at this point, you have some sense of what you want to do your capstone about, like what topic area that wants to be in. And so now that we have gotten past that part, we're in a good place for like developing the plan. And we'll talk more about this. We'll talk a lot more about this, but a lot of the ways I'm imagining handling text document generation going forward in my life is to think about it in terms of building a knowledge base from whence you can generate documents that are sort of close enough to what you want that editing them is now a useful expenditure of your energy. Because this is the thing with AI. Running out of time. This is part A. It's 15. I think under 20 is a good chunk size. Behold what it looks like to pull a train back onto its rails. I just derailed my... I had a train of thought, I derailed it, I got it back, I noticed that, I called it out, I lost it again. Luckily, we have a thing in front of us. Also, I noticed myself, I keep looking in this direction because that's where I can see the thing that's being presented, which probably means I'm just always looking. It's like gaze aversion in primates. Probably makes me feel less confrontational. Da 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 da. Okay. Blah blah blah. Right. Right. Okay. Chunk through, whatever. It's gonna be roughly this. Like, these words will eventually be links to other places. Full disclosure, which I may have said before, but I'll say it again. We're using an instance of Skellybot as the AI backbone of this class. Skellybot was developed, I think officially speaking, like by the FreeMoCap Foundation, because it is owned by the FreeMoCap organization on GitHub, because it is kind of like related and it will be sort of like overlapping with that project. The FreeMoCap Foundation is like basically just like an organization I made in the course of my research to like house this open source project that I was a part of. It is a 501c3 nonprofit. I'm the president, I guess. So anything I say, like, you know, so there's this like identity distinction that I need to make of like me as a professor and me as like a part of this organization. And like, so I am not going to make any money whatsoever by you using this thing. Nothing I'm saying is an endorsement of this thing. Like, the words I say as an individual human do not respect any, they're not indicative of any of the institutions or organizations that I'm a part of. Anything else? Yeah, I'm not soliciting you, I'm not endorsing anything, I'm not trying to get you to pay any money. I'm actually paying for the token costs out of pocket, so it's fine. Someday, Skellybot might be a thing that is like a subscription-y, service-y thing that someone else might use. You might use it if you like it, but nothing in that world is related to this teacher-student relationship. You have been disclosed. If you have any questions or comments or curiosities or discomforts or quandaries or emotional outbursts, please provide that information to me in some form or another. Blah blah blah. Academic dishonesty. Academic honesty. Yeah, I'm gonna let you use AI for this course. I mean, use every single tool that you can. Talk to your friends. The only thing, don't lie. And lying means like, I'm going to ask you right now, don't claim another human person's work as your work. So if somebody else wrote it, don't put your name on it. Other than that, I cannot think of a way that you could possibly cheat in this course. If you can figure one out, I'll be interested to hear it. Yeah. Okay, I'm running out of time. What else did I want to say? here, we're going back there. Where's my notes? My notes are here. Course materials, give some information about the yeah, like, if it were me in your scenario, actually, let me phrase that. If it were me in your scenario, I would not actually be stressed out. I personally would not be stressed out about not knowing what the assignment was, because I personally know that I would have put it off until the last minute. So not knowing the structure would not actually cause me stress. I know that that is not the only personality type that exists, and I know that there are certainly statistically somewhere in the small horde of humans that y'all represent, someone's stressed out about that. And I can tell you that the structure will be very loose, and it will be based on some best effort attempt to create an artifact of some kind. An artifact is like a thing that you can take with you. It could be a paper, it could be you know, some like, I use a lot of like auto building documentation stuff to like, yeah, generate little static websites with information on it. It could be a grant, it could be a research paper. We'll find out together, and I will give some sort of structure on like how that will be about, like what the check mark will entail, like sometime in the next phase, somewhere in the middle term. Oop, no, wasn't expecting that. Somewhere in the middle term. Did you really double click takes me back to it? Huh, that's nice. Okay, anyway, and then my mouse has like a back button, so I'm often going back when I use that. I think without that it's like control arrow or something, but I'm not actually sure. Yeah, there's going to have to be citations. There will be citations in there. I will recommend using Zotero, but you can use EndNote or whatever the hell you want. Type it by hand. I don't care. Don't ask the bot to make your citations, because that's the wrong use of this tool. Don't ask the bot. The bot will never make you something specifically like you want it to. It's better for general vibe. So something like a citation, you want an old school machine that will chunk that out to you in like a turn crank type of way. LLMs will always have a stochastic element, so just be wary of that. Yeah, there's gonna be some kind of citation thing. There's gonna be some kind of like minimum citation count, and there's gonna be some kind of a presentational component that could mean any number of things. I don't quite know exactly yet. Oh, by the way, this is the repository too. Like this, I'm now using VS Code. You see, remember I was like, oh, think of it like it's a folder full of files. It is that. And so right now, this part here, right-click content outline. Yeah, I guess I called it content outline. Right-click it, open in. You can go open in GitHub, which is cool, and that will just take you straight to where that page hangs out in GitHub. But I can also look at my local version, where my local version is the one that's on my computer. The remote version is elsewhere. The local one is here. This is a rabbit hole, but it's fine. Focus. What are we doing? Open with. Reveal in File Explorer. Yeah, see? There you go. There it is. John Capstone Docs. I changed the name to just straight up Capstone. This is actually my fork of the big one, like the main one, which don't worry about that. Back on track. Timelines in the syllabus. I did this stuff already. Great. Yeah, so here in the README. What about this? Give me that. Nope. Yeah. Doink. Haha. Nice. One of the things about being a ADHD human behavioral type, I don't believe in identity as diagnosis, but I do believe in behavioral phenotypes. And as someone who shares many of the characteristics of that particular phenotype, one of the aspects is that my brain does not go in straight lines. Oh no. I do. That's a stochastic rhinoceros is how I describe my thought process. So discovering that there's a tool. This is Markdown. This is mind map. So I think it's this one, Markdown mind map preview or some shit. I don't know. It's just really helpful because it's like, yeah, I can bounce around and then I know where I am. And it's like, trees, love a good tree. Love a good tree. Because look at that. It's simple. Look how small it is. You can eat that whole thing. Oh, would you like to know more? Boom! Wait. Huh. Where's the big one? That's a big one. Yeah. Whereas this thing is like, holy shit, that's a lot of text. You want me to read all of that in a row? Ugh. But so much of it's worthless. Or at least not relevant yet. Anyways, yeah. 5 minutes to 11. What was I talking about? Oh, dearie me. This is also a lot of white guy energy. Like I have chosen to present myself in a way that is like, I'm just not masking at all. Just like, hey, what's up? Here's what's going on. Which again is something. It's not like it's impossible for people with a different demographic to do this. Of course, anyone can behave any way. But like the specific socialization that I have received as someone who, you know, embodies this particular demographic, is that it is very easy for me to just like not that I don't worry about how people perceive me, but it's the socialization that I receive is, it makes it easier for me to push through it. Maybe I don't. It's literally safer. I don't know. Like I don't have, my career's fine. Whereas if I was a demographic that didn't share these privileges, or rather if there was a demographic that, I prefer to think of it as like burdens that other people have to bear that I don't, rather than think of it as like privileges that I have and other people don't have. Because it's like the world treats me the way that it should treat everybody. Anyway, Jesus Christ. Where am I? Who are we? What's anybody doing at any point in time or history? Can I eat this out? I think I can. Stop touching your face. Looks weird on camera. Blah. Oh, you're intelligent, and I realize I can trust you to understand things. In a hurry. When you're talking to AI, I have personally found that making a lot of small chats is better than making a single large one. And that's just because it starts, when you make, they always start from the same place of like the prompting that's in this channel, which I haven't really discussed yet. I'll do that at some point later. It's a different video actually, I think. Where so as the chat gets longer and longer, there's more and more context in that conversation. So predicting the outcome becomes more difficult. So there's kind of these like different ways of thinking about it. There's like what generally falls into the category of like chat approaches of like talking to it like it's a person. That can be very helpful in a lot of ways for sort of like, you know, navigating a space, and it's like question answer, like hey, like, oh wait, what's that word you just said? Can you explain that more? And then there's more like instruction models where it's like, hey, do this task. And I guess like maybe more than like short is better than long. A better way to say that is to think about what you're doing and consider whether or not you're having a chat conversation or whether or not you're trying to get it to produce a specific output. Oh, this is an actual thing of concern. Not concern, just like a don't do it. This is a don't do it. I saw a couple people do a very, very intuitive mistake, which was the rough assignment was like, go find a paper that you're interested in, and then I don't remember what I said specifically, but what I should have said is copy the citation and be sure to copy the abstract and then talk to it about what that abstract is. What I saw a couple people do was they posted only the citation, then they started asking asking questions about the paper, and then what happened, and this is like an AI brain trap to just like be aware of. The bot said things that made it sound like it understood what the paper was about. But what it was doing was it was inferring what the paper was about from the title. And because titles of scientific papers are often very descriptive with a lot of very specific, jargon and grammar in it, it did a really good job of it. It was very easy to not notice that it was not actually talking about the content of the paper itself. And I checked, and it often did say things like, this paper is probably about, or they likely did this method, but that's so easy to miss, especially because this thing tends to be quite verbose, and I kind of want to make it give shorter answers. But yeah, so this iteration of this bot does not have internet access. It would not be too difficult to make to give it the ability to go and grab, you give it the citation and it goes and grabs the paper and pulls it into the context that it's working from. But this one cannot. This iteration, the bot currently has no access to the internet. So everything that it's talking about is coming from either the server itself or its training data. And this is also kind of a weird fiddly area where if you give it a super famous paper from 10 years ago, it might actually be able to tell you specific things about what's in that paper. If you give it a more recent paper that's not a super famous paper, it's probably just going to be guessing from the context, the clues you gave it. And it's always it's a people pleaser. It always wants to make you happy. And if you look at some of the prompting that I put into it in the bot instructions channels and whatnot, I probably say things like don't make stuff up. I probably say things like if you don't know, say you don't know. But it has been trained to be a helpful AI human assistant, and so it's always going to try to do what you tell it to, even if it doesn't have the tools to do it. So just be aware of that, and think of it as a word calculator. It is a calculator for words, and you give it a bunch of blobby words in context, and it will guess the most likely, it will guess the most likely outcome later. And it is and if that sounds like not enough, it is simply an empirical discovery that works. It's very good at explaining things that would normally be taught in the undergraduate. If it's in a textbook, it probably knows it pretty well. And then this is kind of, I need to leave now. But this is important. I will finish this part. Right. If you have anxiety about feeling gross about using AI to create things that are supposed to be generative from your heart, yeah, good, totally, 100%. And so because the reality of how this works is that what large language models like GPT-4 have learned, GPT-4 is not special, it's just the best of that type of thing that exists right now. They learn the global statistics of the training set that they have. So when GPT-4 produces an output for you, it will always be within the belly of the statistical space of likely answers to the questions that you've asked it. Where the question might be a one question, the question might be in the context of a long conversation, but it will always give you this is the statistics of what the answer should be, sort of filtered through my various trainings and prompting and whatnot. So what that means is that it will tend to give you very good answers when you're asking boring questions. If you are asking a question that more than 10,000 people have asked and gotten good answers for before, it's going to be very good at that. Once you start getting to the edges, the places where there's not a lot of questions asked and answered, or maybe nobody knows the answer to this thing, it's going to start breaking down. And that is a good place to be, because that's where you can start making a contribution to the conversation. The tricky part is that the bot may not call it out. It may not tell you, oh, I don't know this type of stuff, so I'm going to start getting a little way more stochastic in my answers. So you just kind of have to learn how to navigate that spell space and kind of like gut check yourself into figuring out, like you start to learn what it can and can't do. In the same way that, can I pause the recording? Just go tell someone I'm going to be a few minutes late? I can't. I don't know how to. I'm pretty sure I can. Yeah, so in the same way that, like, you know, like I know two people, one is named Gerald and the other's named Francesco, and one of them's an artist and the other one's a software developer, and I know that for certain types of questions I should talk to Francesco about paint and Alt about code. Like, you learn the types of questions that people are likely to be able to answer, and there's a similar sort of a gut instinct that like I've started developing with these things, of things that are, oh, that's a bot question, the bot can solve that, no problem. Or like, ooh, that's actually going to be kind of hard to set up the word calculator in a way that's going to produce a likely answer. Or the bot will give me an answer that's like roughly the right shape, and then I'm going to edit that shape. I'm going to edit the content to be what I actually want it to be. Weird skill sets. And the way you learn anything is by doing it a lot. So, like, please don't treat this like a regular class where I give a shit about the assignments. Like, I don't care about the assignments. So if you want to just start following the instructions and do that, that's fine. Like, check the box, like get the grade, you'll be fine. But just like, I am trying to teach you techniques, employ those techniques. Do them as much as you can. Talk to the bot as much as you can. Yeah, you're not being evaluated, you're not being graded, you're not going to be, I'm not going to check out if you're like good at this or bad at this, I'm not going to decide who's the best, I'm not going to say you're not going to rank order you. That's not my motivation space. So, yeah. I wish there was a way for me to give you like a private space to talk to the bot, but I don't know how to do that. If you want that, you just have to go sign up for OpenAI or whatever like that. Okay, that was part A and B. That's fine. Nope. And here's this instruction set. I do have assignment 3 set up already. If you look at the server, you will notice that it looks different. Basically, I've given a category to each of you that is sort of, that's the one you picked, and also your color is now the color. You may or may not remember what your ID was, and I should be able to like turn the de-identification on and off, but I wanted to be able to show the Discord server without doxing everybody. One more thing before I sign off here. I also added, maybe it's just gonna be 2 parts. One is like, who gives a shit? Okay, so a lot of stuff's happening on YouTube. I'm putting all the data with the videos and stuff on YouTube. It's going on my personal YouTube account. Where's the stupid thing? Oh, there's a link. Oh, I should definitely link to that in the important links channel. One second. Let me just send this message real quick. See you in there shortly. Ha! Relaxing Donkey Kong music. Every time I showed you, I'm like, let's see, have I been looking at anything embarrassing? It's like, a little bit. It's fine. Mostly it's just like techie stuff. Focus. What am I talking about? I am talking about the playlist. Yeah, so there's this. View on YouTube. Is this the one? Yes. Haha. And now I will take that and go back to the server and go here and then say, doing verbal protocol analysis. Edit, click the edit button, hit that. You see Discord also does Markdown, so you can see that. Course YouTube playlist. See how duplicating the word course 4 times in a row tells me that I don't actually need to say it there, but here we are. So I put videos there, and in addition to these like direct communication videos, just like I'm also putting up what I've been trying to just label as like workflow videos, where like these are longer and it's mostly me just like working on stuff related to the course. Eventually, like I'm going to be doing. Don't talk about the future. Okay. But the way you can tell is I will label them as workflow videos. I might change that name to something else, and it will. Does this work? Haha. Yeah. So if you got the 4 camera views, except one of them's not showing, it's a workflow video. If you have just the one, it's this kind of video. I'm using Streamlabs for this, and I just switched. Scenes is what they're called. So I'll put another one up here. Here's another one. The names, like the label, it's always like, should you assume context in your labels? Should, like, I think I should, because they want them to be standalone. Okay, 40 minutes, which is 2 20s. Maybe get better over time. Okay, I'm gonna throw this one up soon. You can access the assignment 3 markdown file if you want. It's in the Human Movement Neuroscience GitHub repo, Capstone, docs? Yeah, docs. Course materials, assignments, assignment 3, student instructions, boom. I will also post a video of me doing this in my area that I made. I made a version of whatever the thing that you have. I also have one. I'm going to use it to do something. But I'm going to post a video with instructions on how to do that. More like video instructions on how to do that later, possibly today. But it's just I'm just so tired, y'all. Okay, wonderful. Which is harder, pushing the button to stop or pushing it to end? Yes is the answer. Okay, thank you, good luck, talk to you soon. Oh, if you want, like, you can, like, I guess subscribe to the, because, like, I'm not going to make an announcement every time I put a video in here, but I think you can subscribe that it will tell you when I do that. I'll probably make an announcement every time I make, like, a core like one of these with this guy, but not for like all the workflow videos. Also, like, these are 100% optional. Like, it's just, if you're curious, there you go. Under 45 minutes at least is reasonable. Okay. Good luck, Godspeed. Farewell. Click.